Hello everyone, welcome back. Recently on the channel I did a video where I tested 3 items of vintage audio gear, and that video actually got quite a few nice comments, and the video did quite well. So again, I went into my stock and I selected 3 random pieces of vintage audio gear, and we're gonna have a look at them together. So the first item is this mysterious box. This is a Philips record player. Well, it's technically a Philips, but it's branded as Aristona. See? Now, just as a quick reminder, the purpose of this video is not to repair or restore these items. It's just to see if they are working. And if there are some small things to do, like cleaning controls or changing a bulb, of course, that we can do. But I'm not going to go into an extensive repair on these things. It's also mainly a purpose to organize my stock, because I have a lot of devices in stock which are untested. I haven't even tried them myself. So since I need to organize my stock anyway, I figured I can just put it on video. And then you have the excitement of experiencing the same type of discovery as I do. Maybe some magic smoke even. See, so this record player, it comes supplied with 2 speakers that can lift off, and I think one of the speakers, the clip's broken off. So see, there is a button here on this side that you can push to free up the speaker, but the clip on this side is broken. See, so these are the 2 speakers, and there you see the clip that holds it in place, and this side is broken. So here is the cable, and then you can, I think, do you set the speaker like this? Possibly. Like that. And here we have the turntable with the rubber mat, which is still in nice condition. There we have a bit of oxidation. The voltage selector switch, I don't know if you can see this, but it's accessible here via this hole in the platter. It's difficult to see, but it's set to 220 volts, so that's fine. Yeah, it's very light, it's really plastic fantastic. Here we have tone control, left and right separately. That's funny. Balance and volume. So of course this thing has a built-in amplifier, because you can connect the speakers over here, and there is another DIN jack. I don't know what that's for. That's probably an output to connect it to an external amplifier, but maybe also an input, I don't know. Here we have the speed selector, 33, 45, 78. And we have a cartridge and a needle. It's a 215. And then here there is a handle. Neat. Probably this was the compartment to store the power cable, but the cover plate is missing. So here we have the label. It's an SG2623/13, Aristona branded, serial number 0113128. And there's really something rattling inside. This is the battery compartment. Also looks very clean. There is a way to route the cable here, that's nice. It does still spin freely, so this might work. Yeah. Okay. It's a bit dirty, but wow, this is... Now that the platter is off, it's super light, because I think that's the only thing, yeah, that's quite heavy, so that's the only item of weight here. And here you can see, yeah, it is oxidizing quite badly. Let's see, I can just hold this easily with one hand. Here's a better view of the mechanism. The idler wheel moves freely, and yeah, that seems to be working. The different speeds. Now, what is a bit annoying is that the tone arm is blocking here a bit the speed selector. But as you see, the idler wheel moves to a different position on the spindle, the motor spindle. So I guess if the motor spindle is free, and if the motor is still okay, yeah, then this record player will spin. Now, if you search on Radio Museum for SG2623, then you'll notice there are two entries, one under the Aristona brand and one under the Philips brand. As I said, Philips released often their products under two different brands. The only thing that they then sometimes did is they changed the exterior, the design, and then it looked like a different machine, but inside it was identical. Now, here in this case, it's different. They didn't even bother changing the design. They just slapped another badge on and called it a day, because this is the Philips version, and as you see, it is identical to the one that we have. Look. The only thing is it's branded as a Philips. See, we have the Philips badge here on the outside of the speakers as well, the Philips badge. But for the rest, everything is the same, even the controls, the labels, everything. This is the Aristona version, and the pictures on this entry are also mine. So I took these pictures last year, I think, when I got this machine, and I uploaded them to Radio Museum. Everything on here is mine. Now, if you look a bit at the schematic of this thing, but just out of curiosity, here we have it, and as you see, it is extremely simple. Here we have the speakers, which can be unplugged. Then we have this IC, it's a TCA830, and that's the full amplifier. So the full amplifier circuit is in one IC. This IC is a Telefunken TCA830, which is all-in-one amplifier. See, audio power amplifier. See, and here we have this extra DIN connector, and as you'll see, the pickup is connected directly to this DIN plug. So the left channel is going here directly to pin 3, the right channel directly to pin 5. And these other connections, they're just the input of the amplifier for both channels. And pin 2 is the ground. So that means that you could take off the signal coming from the cartridge directly here from this DIN plug, but you could also inject signal as well. And use this as in just an amplifier. I don't know why you would do that, because it's probably just a really low quality amplifier. Taking the signal from the tone arm and use it just as a turntable makes more sense, and then using some batteries, taking these two small speakers along if you go on a picnic, but using these small speakers at home, if you have a separate amplifier, that makes more sense. Okay, let's just plug this in and see if it blows up or not. The connectors are not labeled, so I assume this is the right and that's the left channel. It's labeled stereo, so it is a stereo record player and a stereo amplifier inside, which is nice because some of these portable record players, they didn't have a stereo amp and you could only connect one speaker, but here you can go on a picnic and listen in stereo. And you can separate these as much as you like. Okay, plugged in, and I'm gonna use 140 watt bulb. And that's it. Let's power it on. Just as a quick reference, I'm not plugging it directly into the mains. I'm plugging into my dim bulb limiter so that if there is a short inside the device, it will not cause the device to completely blow up or some components to burn out. That's just a bit of protection that I'm using on all the equipment that I test in these videos. The dim bulb limiter is on. I have 140 watt bulb and it's drawing 0.6 watts, but that could also be the transformer because I also have an isolation transformer. So I don't think it's consuming anything, which is what we expect. Now let's see if the motor is turning. And let's put the volume a bit low. It did something. No. Nothing. Really? Nope. Also not seeing anything on the dim bulb limiter, so maybe we have a bad power switch somewhere. No, the motor isn't spinning. Right, that's not a great start. Let's have a quick look on the inside and see if we can notice something wrong. Maybe it's something as simple as a dirty switch. Now it will probably just come out, right? Okay. See, so this is the power switch, I believe. Yeah, this thing is so light that I can just hold it with one hand while explaining things. See, so here we have the tone arm mechanism. If you move the tone arm to the back, yeah, then this switch closes, but it just barely touches, so maybe that needs to be bent a little and cleaned. See, and then it opens again. Or what I could also do is just power this up like this and see if I push this, if the motor is spinning. Nope. So I quickly grab the multimeter and the switch is okay. So this is a DC motor, I believe. And there is nothing. Is the transformer working? So I think this is the output of the transformer. No. No. See, there we have 240 volts. So again, if you're working on things like this, be careful. Well, I think this is the output of the transformer and I'm not getting any voltage. See, according to the service manual, there is a thermal fuse here inside. So maybe we can test continuity from this lead of the power supply to pin 1 on the voltage selector. Oh, well, I was thinking maybe this transformer has an open winding. Then I just try to measure here and there is a very tiny wire that came off. Yeah, now it definitely has an open winding. Yeah, so I am quite positive if you measure here between the power supply, one side of the power supply and here this winding of the primary, there is no continuity, so the thermal fuse inside the power transformer has blown, and while measuring this I also tore off a small wire. Now that's the tap for the 240 volts, so the red wire here is for the 240, the green wire is for the 220 as far as I can tell. And so the 240 volts is now open, but the 220 should still work. But there is no continuity here between this side of the mains and the red wire here, which is, let me show you on the schematic quickly. See, so here between this side of the mains, the thermal fuse, and this side is connected to pin 2 and then to pin 9, and then depending on the position of your voltage selector, this either goes to one of these 4 windings. So this is the 240 volts is pin 3, 220 volts is pin 10. So this is indeed wired up here in this diagram for 220. See, the mains comes in over here. This connection of the mains goes to there, and then it goes to the green wire because it's now the voltage selector is now set for 220, and then it goes to this side of the primary. And the red wire here, that's the 240 volts, and that one is the one that now broke off. So normally you should be able to measure continuity here through this, but absolutely nothing. See, it's 4.7 meg. To this tap, also nothing. These are the 120 and 120. Oh, here we have continuity, 140 ohms, 170 ohms. So what we can do is, if my theory is correct, and if it is indeed the transformer, we can test it on batteries, or well, on the on DC volts, and see if that works. So how many batteries does this take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. That's 9 volts. Okay, so let's hook this up and let's try not to apply reverse polarity. I believe this is the ground. And here, over here, we have the 9 volts. I have 5 volts now on this thing. Ah, motor is spinning. Haha! Let's ump this up to 9 volts. So, indeed, the transformer is dead, but we can still use it on DC. That's something, I guess. Let me just put everything back together and then we can hook up the thing on the... I should have tried this before I opened it up, but hey. Okay, so I have this thing back together and now hooked up to the bench power supply. Look, it's working. This is 33, 45 and 78. Let's see if the amplifier also works. I hear the pop in the speaker, well, in the right one. Don't know if I heard anything in the left one. Oh yeah, some dirty controls, and I hear crackling in both speakers, so that's nice. Let's play something. Okay, let's play the discotheque sound. So I guess these are all synthesizer covers from famous songs. See, first one is Popcorn, but there are also some other things on there. See, something by Neil Diamond, Giorgio Moroder. No, I don't think these are original ones. I guess these are covers. But that doesn't mean that YouTube would not copyright match them, so I'm only going to play short clips. Ooh, it's very silent. Yeah, something is definitely not right. See, the audio is not coming through the amplifier. The amplifier is working, but the audio from the record player is not getting in, or... Yeah, so I think this needs a bit of work in the amp, or maybe there is a loose connection somewhere. I don't know. Or maybe the cartridge is bad, because... Now we do have something, suddenly. I don't know, what did I do? Okay, I don't know if there is something wrong in the amp or if it is the cartridge that is bad. I am going to leave it at this for the moment. This definitely needs quite a bit of work, and well, we'll need to fit, if you want to restore something like this, you need to fit a new transformer if you want to run it on DC, on AC, sorry, and this very low output thing also needs to be fixed. See, now there is some audio, but it's fully on max, so that cannot be right. There's also lots of distortion in the audio, so this is a unit. I think it'll be for spare parts. Next up, we have a very small amplifier. This is a Philips it's 22RH580, and it's a really tiny amplifier from, I believe, end of the 60s, because I think the outputs here are still germanium, and I think it's also in capacity quite tiny. I think I saw an ad somewhere saying that it's 2 × 6 watts, so even for that time that wasn't really that big. Just for comparison, this is my multimeter. Then you see it's not much taller than my multimeter. So yeah, it's tiny. Controls are also quite simple. We have balance, treble and bass, volume. And then here we have 3 inputs, pickup, tape and tuner. They are nice and clunky. And this is the power switch. A nice quirk is that these controls, they have a red line to indicate the 0 position. But for example, the treble and the bass, these are these 2 in the middle here. As soon as you, well, turn them a bit to the left or the right, the red line disappears, and then you don't really know anymore where you are on the dial, see? So yeah, that is a bit useless, that indicator, but it's just to put it back at 0, I guess, or so this is, I guess, 0, and then plus extra treble, and then less treble, I don't know, but it's just probably to put it back at 0. Very interesting. Balance, same thing. As soon as you turn it a bit, the 0 marker disappears from view. Philips made these amplifiers together, and they also sold together a matching tuner and matching record players, all in this form factor. It's fully made of plastic, so that's fake wood, it just has a vinyl wrap, and the tuner and the record player, they had the same thing. They also had this vinyl wrap. What is very common with these is that the vinyl starts peeling off or starts loosening. See, it has bubbles here on the sides. The one on the top is often still okay. It's the one on the sides that, you see, this one is also going loose, but it's still, well, not damaged. The only point of damage here is in the middle. I don't know if you can peel that off and reapply it. If not, you can easily buy some wood grain stickers, but it does have this vintage feel, and it looks really well. It almost looks like a clock radio from the 70s or the 60s. So I think it has a pleasing aesthetic, and it's well, quite cute that it's only that small and it's only 2 times 6 watts. You see them listed sometimes at 2 times 9 or 2 times 10, but that is music power, right? So the actual continuous output, I think it's 5 or 6 watts for each channel. Then the inputs, we have, of course, a whole range of DIN plugs, so tuner, tape recorder, and then you have the pickup input for a ceramic cartridge and for a crystal cartridge. Wait, this one says MD Hi-Fi ceramic, so that's for a magnetic cartridge. Sorry, this is for a magnetic cartridge, and this is for a crystal or a ceramic. So you do have a preamp inside. And then here it says, see, 2 times 9 watts, but well, it will be a bit less. And you have connectors for 8 or 4 ohm speakers. See, and here we have the entry on Radio Museum. They specify 1968. I think that's probably correct. It will be in that era. Here you see some more pictures. There is a service manual available, so yeah, if there is something wrong with the thing, then we should be able to repair it. I have the service manual here, and this is the entire schematic. So it's not complicated. See, so we have here on the left the preamplifier and the main amplifier. So if you want to learn how an amplifier works, I think this is a great place to start because it is extremely simple. And as you see, 2 germaniums on the outputs, AD161, AD162. The other transistors are silicon. And then here we have, I noticed one for sale here online with the tuner. So here you see that that's the matching tuner that Philips made at some point. And they also included a screenshot here of a advertisement, and it's really difficult to read. It is quite blurry, but it does say here output power 2 times 6 watt continuous or 2 times 9 watt music power. Now I have no clue if this works, just like all the other gear that I'm testing in these videos. There is a plate here, a cover plate. What is that? Is this to access the amplifier PCB or... Oh, yeah. Oh, indeed. You see everything, this amplifier is very small and very simple. So you can access the PCB via this access door. And let's plug it in. I'm not going to connect anything yet. So let's just see if we don't have a short or anything. Dim bulb limiter on. I have one 40 watt bulb. It's drawing nothing. That's good. Let's turn this on. it's drawing 3 watts. We have a indicator light here. That's nice. What is the point of this red indicator line on the volume control if you can even turn it to the left? There is no point, I think. It's drawing 3 watts. I don't know if that's fine. It doesn't sound too excessive. It's seeing 240 volts. So what I will do, where is the voltage selector? Here is the voltage selector. Let's turn this off. I am going to swap it to 240, like that. Then that way we are stressing this thing a bit less. Drawing 2 watts and a half, seeing 245 volts. So it's not exhibiting any signs of a short. Now, first thing you would do with an amp is measure if there isn't any DC offset on the output. But with these kind of amplifiers, that's quite difficult because they have a capacitively coupled output. So that means there is a capacitor in series with the output, which means that if you don't have a speaker or a load connected on the output terminal, then you will see the full rail voltage or half of the rail voltage on the output. But that's simply because the capacitor that is in series with the output is floating on one side, so you are measuring a potential difference, and it doesn't mean anything. So what I will do is I will put a load here on the output. This is just a simple 1K resistor. I'm gonna take it out of the cover so that I can measure across the resistor. And I'm gonna put it, for example, on the, what is this then, the right or the left channel? I guess this is the left channel. Put it on the left channel. Turn this thing on. Do we measure a voltage across this resistor? Absolutely nothing. That could be a bad thing. Could be that the outputs are shorted, or well, but it also means that there is no current flowing. Let's turn this off again. Let's put it on the other output, the other channel. 3 millivolt, 2 millivolt. I think that's fine. Let's take a speaker. Now, I only have one speaker at hand. If this works, I can still connect additional speakers. Same thing, but now with the speaker. Do we hear something? Where is my volume? Yeah, see, like this, if the indicator is not visible, so is the volume control fully down or fully open? No way to know. Let's put it down. Absolutely nothing. This doesn't bode well. Let's connect something here to the tuner input, for example. Have it in tuner. I am not hearing anything. Yeah, this thing is completely dead. Apart from the dial indicator. Okay, so I have my signal generator hooked up. Let's see if we hear something. It's the tuner again. Nope. Not a sausage. No. Okay. Let's turn this off and let's have a look inside. It seems that this thing is also completely dead. Whoa, those are long screws. Does this mean that the cover now comes off? Ah, yeah. Okay. Do I spot something problematic at first sight? Not really. You know what I don't see? Ah, there. I just wanted to say I don't see a fuse, but there it is. And it's blown. Ha! Okay. Okay, so there is the fuse. And it's open. I assume something went wrong with the output. See, the transistors used in the output stage are AD161 and AD162. But if you look, these guys, they seem to be older or newer. In any case, the transistors on one channel are from a different batch than the ones over here. These are also very oxidized. This one here, I can't even read the markings anymore. Is there something else that seems to be broken at... Whoa, there is... Yeah, there is a blown capacitor, or what is this? See, so over there, that disc, that doesn't seem right, because this is how this capacitor, or whatever it is, I think it's a capacitor or maybe a coil, I don't know. That's how it should look like, and there, see, it's everything is flaking off. So that has maybe overheated. So that's a worry at first sight. It is using here BC158, BC158 and BC149, and there are another BC149 transistors in this lock fit package. So if I would have to restore this amplifier, I would replace those with normal ones. And there is another one, BC178, and there another one, BC178. Let's see if we have shorted outputs. It is quite simple to test transistors, especially the outputs. So you put your multimeter on diode test. 161, that is the PNP, and 162, that's the NPN. So this is the PNP. That means that, is this then the base? Oh, there is a short here. That's not right. Between collector and emitter, there is a short. See? Here as well, dead short. So there is definitely something going on in this channel. Probably the outputs are just blown. On the other side, now I don't know, I can't really read which one is which. So just quickly check the service manual and they are in the same order. So this is the 162 and this is the 161. So that's the NPN, that's the PNP. Again, the NPN positive on the base. Here we have a drop of 0.2 to the emitter and 0.206 to the collector. And between collector and emitter, 0.1. And in that direction also 0.09. There is no short, but it also doesn't, I don't think that looks great either. Sorry, you need to reverse the leads here. 0.237, 0.235, which is as to be expected because your drop between base and emitter should be slightly higher than between base and collector. So C.237, that's the emitter. .235, that's the collector. Over here, .208 for the emitter, .206 for the collector. So these seem a bit more healthy than these guys, but I also don't think they are great. This resistor here also has some signs of overheating. So yeah, I think we've seen enough here. This one also needs a repair and a restore. Is it worth it? What do you think? Let me know. Or do we just keep this for spare parts as well? I do know that there are some people that are quite fond of these little amplifiers. So far we haven't had much luck, but I hope this is gonna change now, because I hope this one will work, because this one I think is gonna be the star of the show. Well, that's a bit too big for the camera. This is a cassette deck, and it's not a simple one. It's an Akai GX-F51, and it's really quite a nice deck. I picked this up on a flea market a while ago, and the owner said it was working, but I haven't tested it. It just went into the stock room and I didn't test it. So, but then, well, is it working, or what does he mean by working? Does it just light up? And some people already claim that something is working when just the lights light up. So I don't know. I haven't tried it. But this is a quite complicated deck. I think also quite an expensive one. Not sure if you can call it high-end, but it's definitely not a cheap low-end deck. So here we are on Hi-Fi Engine, the Akai GX-F51, built in 1982-1983. Two-head single compact cassette deck, two motors, one for fast forwarding and rewind, and one for the capstan. Dolby B and C noise reduction. Wow and Flutter .035%, that's pretty neat. And lots of fancy features that are not really mentioned here at the moment. So here is the user manual, and you do really need a user manual for this one, because it is a quite complicated device. This deck can automatically identify a type of cassette and can automatically profile the tape and set bias and everything automatically. You cannot change it manually as far as I am aware. You also cannot monitor manually the recording. But in theory, you shouldn't need it, because everything is done automatically. And I think, well, this thing is quite complicated. You do really need this user manual to be able to use this deck, because there are a lot of fancy stuff that this can do. This is really from the 80s, like we saw. So this is a period of time where they just wanted to make everything as fancy as possible. And they started adding electronic features into these audio equipment. For example, it has a record cancel function. So if you're doing a recording and you press this rec cancel button, where is it? Here it is. Then the deck will automatically stop recording, rewind until the beginning of the song that you just have recorded, insert 4 seconds of blank space, and then go into pause, record pause mode again. So ready to record over what you just recorded. So these kind of features, they are quite impressive. For example, this is an intro scan, so then it just forwards through the tape, and when it detects that there is a new song that starts, it plays 10 seconds and it forwards again, these kind of things. But the main party trick of this deck is, as I said, the automatic tape profiling. Press the tuning button, so the test indicator blinks during automatic tape tuning. Ready indicator lights up when, and the record standby function is enabled when the automatic tape profiling function is done. As long as the ready indicator is lit, the levels for bias, equalization and sensitivity are set to the usual, to the tape type in use. Okay, I really need to go through this more in detail. It's really 17 steps to do a recording. It is quite involved. But let's first see if it doesn't blow up when I try to power it up, and if we can play a tape. Yeah, forgot to show you the back. We have here line in, a DIN connector and line out. Here is the model number and the serial number in case you are interested. And this is connection for a remote control. Okay, time to turn it on and see if it works. I have it plugged in into the dim bulb limiter. Let's use, yeah, I have one bulb of 40 watts. Let's turn on the dim bulb limiter and let's turn on the power. We have something, and it's only seeing 187 volts, drawing 14 watts, but nothing seemed to be going wrong. It is a bit dim, but that could be because it's only seeing 187 volts. So let's give it another bulb. So that's now a total of 100 watts. Now it's seeing 236 volts. Still no issue whatsoever. That's not bad. Let's see. Eject. Oh, wow, that's quite neat. Yeah, just I have forgotten to go over the controls here. So we have the eject button that I just pressed, tape counter reset, tuning and ref. So these are the controls for the automatic profiling of the tape. Peak VU meter auto fader. Okay, I didn't even notice that feature in the manual. This is the record cancel function that I mentioned. This is for a timer. Yes, I guess. Then auto system off, memory of or IPLS. I also mentioned that one, but I really need to check how to control these things. The output slash phone, so that's the output level. Dolby noise reduction on or off, see, and indeed it lights up here. Dolby C or Dolby B. Yeah, you can switch between B and C. And this is the MPX filter, on or off. There is no light that lights up when you press that button. Anyway, record balance, left or right, and record level, okay. Microphone inputs, and then here we have, well, all the tape controls, like play, seems to be doing something, pause, rewind, fast forward, okay. Right, let's put in a tape and see if it works, because so far it's making all the right noises and lighting up the right lights. So let's see. Oh, I have a tape here. It's just a standard tape, type 1. It has an, I think it has an English course on it, probably Dutch to English. Let's see. Okay, play. Yeah, it's playing. Oh, it stopped. What happened? Oh, the take-up reel is not moving. That's not good. Oh yeah, indeed, the tape is not, it's not taking up the slack. Okay, so that's not great. Does fast forward work? No. It did for a second, but no, it doesn't. Rewind? No, rewind also doesn't work. But the capstan is spinning, right? Because otherwise it wouldn't have played. So let's eject again. Ah yeah, the capstan indeed is spinning. So I just lost a bit of footage where I noticed that it was not detecting the right type of tape. And then I wiggled a bit with the switches. I activated, so there are a couple of switches here on top that check the type of the tape. And they were not making good contact, probably because it has been sitting for a while. See, but now it's working, because now it detected this tape as normal. Eject. And I have a chrome tape here. See, it's detecting it as chrome. So that's fine. I noticed you could also close the door by just pressing one of the controls, like stop, for example. That's pretty neat, but, well, it's not really useful if it doesn't take up the slack. Oh yeah, also in the missed footage, I cleaned the heads. Now the heads weren't not dirty at all. There was quite a lot of dirt on the capstan, and I think there is still some dirt that I can't get off, maybe a bit of corrosion. So that needs a bit more attention, but for the moment it's okay. The main problem that we have is that, see, rewind doesn't work. Well, now it does. See, now it does, but does it also work with the tape? Yes, but... Well, now it works after working it a bit. See, rewind doesn't work. So there is probably a loose belt or something inside. Let's open this thing up. Okay, so I just took out the screws. There were 8 in total, 3 on each side and then 2 in the back. So plenty of screws. Wait, let's just first turn this off. I also tried plugging the deck directly into the mains, and then it ran a bit faster, but still didn't have enough torque to do fast forward or take up the slack of the reel. So I guess there is a bit of a loose belt inside. Whoa! Now that's impressive. That's a lot of electronics for a cassette deck. Oh, wow. I think if there is something seriously wrong with this thing, that's gonna be a challenge to work on. That is totally impressive. Because this is also a PCB. See, there's also some electronics on there as well. That is really impressive. Now, let's see. Obviously, here we have the cassette mechanism. Let's turn it on again. There I see a belt. But that one is... yeah, that one is spinning. So that cannot be it. There is the flywheel. Now, the flywheel is working perfectly fine because the tape is moving forward. But I can't see any other belt. Maybe they are buried deep inside the tape mechanism. That wouldn't be fun. I think I need to take the front plate off. If you take the front plate off, then hopefully I will be able to take the cover plate here inside the tape mechanism off. And then maybe I can have a look at these spindles. What's driving these spindles and how, yeah, what is going wrong? I don't know if you can take the cover plate off. Yeah, yes, it's held in with some clips. So yeah, I think the best step is now to take this faceplate off. Let's see, I noticed in the service manual that they said you can also take the bottom off, but I don't know if that's needed. We can take the door. We can take the door off. That's already something. But doesn't bring us any closer to seeing what is wrong with the mechanism. I really want to get this working, because if this deck works well, then I think I'm going to use this as my main deck for recording. I think even though it is quite complicated, all these automatic features, I think they come in quite conveniently if you once you get used to them and when you start recording a lot. Okay, so this can move out of the way, I hope. Yes, that's nice. Oh, this plate comes out. Yes. There are also 2 clips at the bottom, I believe. No, there aren't. Okay. It is stuck at the bottom somewhere. Yeah, I think it's coming out. Okay, okay. Oh, sorry, my hand was probably in the way. But I think it should be coming out. It would be nice if I could take the entire door out, but... ah, yes, I can. Okay. That makes a difference. I'm gonna turn this thing off right now. See, that is the LED or the light panel or what this. I think it's maybe also a VFD, just to do the backlighting for the cassette, for the window of the cassette. That's neat. And here we can see the drive. How is this working? Ah, so that's probably driving the reels. Is that a belt? No, I think it's a wheel. Let's power this up and see what it's doing. I am now hitting stop. Doesn't do anything. Okay, play. Oh. Fast forward. Okay, that's doing something. But why is... see, I'm now hitting play, but something is stuck here. Or why is this not working? This is weird. Rewind. Fast forward. Now it's working. Why is it now working? It doesn't have any torque at all. See, now I pressed play and now it's working. What the hell? I think there is a tire on here that has deteriorated. Oh, well, not deteriorated, but has become quite hard. No. This was the stop button, play. No. Still spitting out the tape. Yeah, I think this small wheel is the issue. Now, how do I get these off? Maybe I need to risk taking this C-clip off. And I don't want to lose it. Oh, it's loose already. Now, how am I going to get this off without losing it? Okay, there is a spring that fell off and I have the C-clip. So, okay, I have this and the little C-clip and then there is this that came out. Oh, and this as well. Crap. Now let's see if we can get this wheel out. Yes. Okay. Here it is. I don't know if I have a belt this small. Oh, that is really small. And it is, yeah, it is hard, completely hard. So, let me see if I can find a ring this small, because this is tiny. So the answer is no, I don't have one. I think, is this even a belt or is it a tire? I don't know how you would call it, but it's really small. If you fold it, it's only 2 centimeters, and all my belts, they are at least 3 or 4 centimeters. So it's also very thick. So I will need to order one of those.
I'm very sorry, but I'm afraid I've broken a record.
You've crashed the car?
I'm terribly sorry, but I'm afraid I've crashed the car.
You can't come to your friend's wedding?
I'm really sorry, but I'm afraid I can't come to your wedding.
What I did is I cleaned the tire with isopropyl alcohol very thoroughly. So I know that normally everyone says you shouldn't clean rubber with isopropyl alcohol because it dries it out. But I was figuring, well, what do I have to lose here just to get this working quickly? And I think it worked. See? Now, I don't know how long this will work, if it will stay like this, but I will probably try to find a replacement tire or a replacement belt, however you want to call it, for this thing. But in the meantime, I can reassemble this and then continue my testing. That's nice. There is something else that I've noticed. See these capacitors, they are held in place with this dreaded glue or goo, or however you want to call it. But that starts becoming corrosive after a while, and you see there are some crusties on that diode over there, and the legs are black. I'm not sure if that is caused by the glue, but in any case, it's starting to look pretty bad over there. So that might be a point of attention for the future. Well, that was a challenge to get everything back together, because when I finished it up, I noticed that the fast forward didn't work anymore, so I had to take it apart again. Well, I took out the door and then I managed to actually get this back plate removed without removing the front plate, this cover plate of the mechanism. And then I noticed that the cable that is powering the lighting here for the cassette window, that was hitting the spindle on the inside, and that was blocking the right spindle to move. So then I put the cable in its little cable guide, because I didn't notice there was a small cable guide on the back of this panel. So then that was okay, but then getting this door back in with the cover in place was really a challenge. So I wouldn't really recommend doing it like this. Just take the cover plate off, it's gonna be a lot easier. Okay, so now finally we can do some testing. So this is a chrome tape. And see, it detects chrome. Now I don't know what is on this tape. I think maybe some classical music. At the moment there's nothing. Yeah, but this was totally at the beginning of the tape, so that might be normal. No, there is absolutely nothing coming through. Is this a blank tape? That's strange. Is this one still working? Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's not. Drill 1. As you stand in Oxford Street.
There's also nothing on this side. Well, that's nice, a blank tape, but okay, I would like to have one with something on it. Okay, next chrome tape. This one is labeled KL9. So I hope there is something on this one. Still nothing. What is happening? Ah. Okay. I thought something was wrong, but whoa. That's working pretty well. Right. Let's see if this intro scan feature is working. I have here a tape with the soundtrack of Top Gun. Now this tape is a chrome tape, but it has the windows taped over, so it should recognize as a normal tape. Yeah, normal. So you should press play, and then I think you should press play and fast forward at the same time while playing. Okay. It's doing something, but yeah, that's not working as it should. Yeah, I think what is wrong here with this automatic function, so if you put here this on IPLS, normally it should rewind to the previous song and then play it back, but well, the start of the previous song or the space when it finds a space on the tape, but it doesn't do that. And you can also see that it doesn't really see, it struggles quite a bit to go at low speed. So what I think is that it's still to do maybe with the rubber, doesn't give a lot of torque, and then the deck tries to think that it's not rewinding and then just gives up or something. I don't know. Maybe because the tape is moving at a too slow speed past the head that it thinks there is a space or a silence. It doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's what's the problem. It doesn't have enough torque to rewind at such a slow speed, and that confuses the electronics probably. Maybe also because this is a chrome tape, and I have a normal in there. Let's take a commercial tape. That's rewinding a bit better. And will it find the start of the song? I think it did. Yeah, that worked. It definitely has to do with the rewinding and with the fact that you need to have the correct tape type. Okay, so I have the tape wound back all the way at the beginning. Let's see if this intro scan feature is working now with this tape. So it should play for 10 seconds and then it should fast forward to the next track. Okay, it's doing that, I believe. I think that worked. Yeah, I think that works. Awesome. If you were wondering what this music was, this was George Baker's selection, Dreamboat. So let's see if this automatic tuning or this automatic tape profiling works. So normally I should simply press the tuning button, I guess. Okay. Okay. I guess it's now making recordings on the tape and then reading it back and then setting all the levels. It's rewinding it back to the start and it says ready. So I guess this works. I don't know, obviously. Can we hear if it recorded something on the tape? Oh yeah, there it is. See? Huh. It didn't erase its test tones. So I guess that works. So that's it for this deck and also for the video. I'm not going to make a recording because I really want to take a bit more time to read the manual and see how it works, experiment a bit with this deck and see how it sounds. But I have a feeling that it's going to be pretty great. So this will probably become my main deck for recording tapes. And yeah, really happy with this one. Even if we had 2 dots in the beginning of the video, this is really a nice one. So, well, I'd like to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed these types of videos. Of course, I will also keep making normal repairs and restoration videos. But as you see, it's already dark outside. So this video really took up most of the afternoon and evening. So it's not just a matter of putting simply 3 devices on the table and seeing if they work. So it's really difficult not to go into the rabbit hole of trying to repair something and really saying, okay, I need to stop here and I need to move on to the next one. That's also why I'm not going to test the recording feature any further. But I'm really glad that it works now. So I'd like to thank you for watching and I hope I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.